Philosophy. This is a word that most people don't truly understand. Some people see philosophy as a recipe for happiness and fulfillment, while some might see it as an occult. And still others see it as rubbish to make an individual smarter than they actually are. According to dictionary.com, a philosopher is a person who offers views or theories on profound questions in ethics, metaphysics, logic, or other related fields. When you take the entire definition into context, Socrates seems to be the most influential philosopher of all time. In the last few days, I have done extensive research on Socrates and on philosophy. So I will share with you why I believe that Socrates was the most influential philosopher of all time. Through Socrates' early life and career, he would establish various foundations to philosophy that could be considered the greatest achievements in the field. Socrates was born as a commoner with the ancient Greek society, as his father was merely a stonemason. As such, Socrates received the same basic education as other individuals his age. As Socrates received the same basic education, he followed in his father's footsteps as a stonemason for much of his life before he decided that he would rather be a philosopher. Considering that Socrates received this normal education, it is astounding as to how he achieved such a high level of understanding in philosophy. And not only teach the subject to students like famous philosophers Plato and Xenophon, but also come up with new breakthroughs that would go unchallenged for centuries. One of the things that Socrates created in philosophy, and was named after him, was the Socratic method. It involved finding the solution to a given problem by breaking it down into a series of logical questions. The formation of the hypothesis in today's scientific method came from the Socratic method, which was originally intended for philosophical purposes. Socrates also developed the idea within the area of philosophy that the best way to achieve a happier life was to focus on self-development rather than the pursuit of material wealth. He always emphasized on brotherhood and building friendships, as he felt it was more important for people to grow as a populace. He stressed that virtues are the most valuable possessions of human beings, and that life should be spent in the search of happiness. Socrates is well known for his contemplation on ethics and the intellectualization of the human psyche. It is from these hobbies that he came up with the conclusion that one's virtues provides all the happiness that someone needs. It was from this that two ideas formed, Stoicism and skepticism. These ideas have so influenced humanity that to this day, Stoics and skeptics still exist. Even as late as the Victorian era in England, Socrates was revered as the Christ-like martyr that laid the foundation for modern, rational, and scientific worldview. Many historians have come to the point of comparing Jesus and Socrates and showing humanity's murder of great, unorthodox thinkers. To sum things up, Socrates, despite his basic education, became one of the greatest philosophers of all time, and perhaps the greatest Western philosopher that dealt with ethics and the logical breakdown of human behavior. Socrates' philosophy was widely accepted, that even some concepts taught by him still prevalently exist today. Socrates had a great influence on what people perceive as achieving true happiness, and how important ethics is when it deals to all facets of everyday life. Socrates has influenced science out of his ideals that were originally intended for philosophy, and thus has greatly changed the world.